We rolling? We're on. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to use this morning to start talking about our next, well, actually our first big photo project, which is called the Shadowgram. And it's a really simple process. It's really easy to do. And it's going to introduce you to the way photography works. Photography comes from the Greek. It's a very simple word. Photo means light, and the graphy part of it means to draw or to write. So in its essence, photography means to draw with light. And that's what we're going to be doing here. Your first photographs and photo projects are not going to involve a camera in any way. We're going to take photographic paper, we're going to put it on a surface, we're going to apply a light source to it, and then we're going to interrupt that light before it hits the photographic paper. And when you do that, if you pretend, let's just pretend this is like photographic paper right here. Here's my light source, and that could be just about anything. We've done this with iPhones, we've done it with flashlights, candles, Christmas tree lights, all kinds of stuff. So here's the photographic paper. Here's light. If we don't do anything to interrupt that light, when light hits photographic paper, it changes its chemistry. And later when we develop it, you'll see what happens. When light hits it, it turns black. So we're going to create some shadows. It's kind of going to be in an inverse of what you're normally used to. So helping me out here this morning is Mr. Monkey. Hi, Mr. Monkey. Now, if you notice, see the shadows that are being cast by Mr. Monkey? Here and okay, those areas are not receiving any light, right? So later on when we develop this photographic paper, those areas that have not been hit with light will not turn black. They're going to create a shadow, but in this case, your shadows are going to be white. You guys are all used to shadows being like dark black, but this time they're going to be opposite. The areas that are not in shadow are going to turn black. See little shadows there? So if we were to make a shadowgram with this, these areas would be white, most of Mr. Monkey be black, or I mean really white, because he would really block out the light. Now over here would be black. Okay. Now that's how the process works. It's really simple. I've done this with young kids, 3rd graders, 4th graders. You can do it with kindergartners probably, use really safe chemicals. The process is really simple. You take photographic paper, you put stuff on it, or at least between the paper and the light. And I want to emphasize that because most people when they do this, they come in, they go into the dark room, they get their paper out, they put stuff on it, they turn on the light, they take the stuff off. But you can put stuff anywhere between the paper and your light source, anywhere in that distance right here. The other thing you can do is the things don't have to sit there static. If you were using Mr. Monkey, you could swing him. This exposure takes like a couple seconds, and so while it's happening, you could be moving Mr. Monkey around. And having like a moving shadow in there would be really cool. Or you can do just stuff on there and get something like this. Anybody can do this. I'm serious. Anybody can do this. 3rd graders, 4th graders. Anybody can take their keys out of their pocket, put it there, turn on the light source, and make a shadowgram. That's easy. So, what we're going to be doing is a little bit more challenging. Instead of just making one shadowgram, you're going to make 3, maybe 4. But pick out of the 4, you'll be picking 3. And just like before, anybody can make 3 shadowgrams. But what makes this project challenging is that you're going to make 3 shadowgrams that all flow and relate to each other. They may not be exactly the same, but they're going to have a quality that ties them together from a design standpoint, from an art standpoint. They're all going to be connected somehow. There's going to be a flow that joins them, maybe similar objects, or maybe where one thing leaves the paper and another thing starts. Becomes a little more of a sophisticated problem now, when you have to have three things that work together, instead of just three random things just slapped down. Then lastly, we're going to finish it off with a haiku. Now, I'll talk more about the structure of a haiku. Haiku is a very traditional form of Japanese poetry. A lot of you have probably written them in the past. And so we're going to have three shadowgrams that relate together, and then we're going to unify the whole thing with this haiku. And we'll be mounting it on paper, this long piece of paper. I've already got them all cut. Your haiku is going to be, you notice how neat this was set up on the computer instead of, like, you know, just grabbing a pencil. Okay, it's going to be neat like this. Some people have outstanding, like, digital photography skills already, and they, like, maybe take like a little shadowgram that they've scanned and overlay their text on top of that. You can do that, but at the very least, I don't want you to handwrite it. I want it to be generated by your word processor. If you want to put little backgrounds on them later, you can do that. Okay, this is how it's going to look. 3 shadowgrams, haiku, and all 3 of these shadowgrams, you notice how they all have some sort of visual element that connects them. That's the challenge here. You know, there's a whole bunch on the walls. We didn't do it quite like that last term. I had them just do 1, but I didn't like it because it's too easy just to do 1. This makes it a challenging project that I think is really appropriate for where you guys are in life. Okay, so that's a real simple overview of what we're going to be doing. When we start out next week, I'm going to show you how we develop paper. I'm going to take you in the darkroom on Monday and show you actually physically how we make one of these in the darkroom, and then we'll be rolling. Anybody have any questions about what I just showed you and talked about? Okay, you can wake up now and go back to what you were doing. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.